Hi, my name is Isuru Yapa. I'm a registered migration agent here at Sirus Migration. Today, I'm going to talk about Tasmanian skill migration pathways as of March 2021. If you have not yet done so, hit the subscribe button so you will be notified each time we publish one of those videos about latest immigration updates or weekly live sessions. With General Skill Migration Subclass 189, you are not required to have any sponsorship from a third party, which means it's an independent visa. Today I'm going to talk about Tasmanian skill migration pathways, which means we will be talking about 190 and subclass 491 visas, which you are required to have a state sponsorship. With the federal government requirements, you're required to have a minimum of 65 points. If you do not have a clear understanding about the point table test, I would recommend you to watch some of the videos that we have created about the point table test, and we will be posting these links in the description section down below. So it is important for you to understand and go and watch these videos before you proceed further with this video. Today I'm going to discuss further about subclass 190 and 491 visa subclasses in detail in relation to Tasmanian skill migration pathways. The state has allocated 1,400 occupations for subclass 491 and 1,000 occupations for allocations for subclass 190. As of today, they have granted 70% of these allocations to applicants as of March 2021. But these allocations will be revisited and reallocated in 1st of July 2021. Also, it is important to understand both these categories, subclass 190 and 491, with Tasmania. Due to these travel restrictions, they won't be considering any Section 48 barred restricted applicants for these programs. Also, if you or your family owes any fees to Tasmanian government agencies, you are required to either settle the payment in full or arrange payment arrangements before you can apply for this visa. Finally, it is important to understand, for you to apply for subclass 190 and 491 visa, you are required to fulfill both the federal government requirements as well as Tasmanian state government requirements. So remember, the basic federal government requirements for these visa subclasses are: your age has to be below 45, you're required to have completed English, that is IELTS 6 in each band or equivalent, and also you need to have a minimum of 65 points, including state government points, and you are required to have a skill assessment completed from the nominated occupation that you're nominating. For today's purpose, we will be considering the skill occupations from Tasmanian Skill Occupation List, also known as TSOL. TSOL consists of 124 occupations. Out of these 124 occupations, there are 15 high-demand occupations listed. Out of these 15 high-demand occupations, 13 of these high-demand occupations are registered nursing related. The other two occupations are occupational therapist and physiotherapist. The rest of the 109 occupations are building, construction and trades, health and community services, hospitality and accommodation, engineering, manufacturing, architecture and design, agriculture, education, and few other. Subclass 190 is a permanent visa. If you were to be nominated, you will receive additional 5 points from the state. Whereas 491 visa is a provisional visa that you will be granted a 5-year temporary visa, and also the state government will give you 15 additional points on top of your individual points. You will also have the pathway to apply for permanent residency through subclass 191. With Tasmanian state sponsorship, there are 2 pathways for 190 visa and 5 pathways for subclass 491 visa. Let's take a look at subclass 190. Subclass 190, there are 2 streams that you can apply for. First stream is Tasmanian Graduates Stream. There will be a new update that will come through in the new financial year, which is in July 2021. Let's look into Tasmanian Graduate category. The requirements are: you're required to study minimum of 92 weeks in Tasmania, and study needs to be full-time. You must be living in Tasmania. Also, your dependents must live in Tasmania during this period. If you're not working in nominated skill occupation, you must provide a career plan. Study does not need to be highly related to your skill assessment, but related study will be highly regarded. Also, it is very important to understand, if your visa is subclass 500 while studying in Tasmania, the course has to be a diploma or a degree or higher. If you're studying Certificate 3 or Certificate 4, then the study has to be from a priority sector. And you must be studying while holding a visa other than subclass 500, such as 408 or subclass 482, etc. There are 9 industries listed in the priority list: tourism and hospitality, building and construction, including civil construction, energy and infrastructure, advanced manufacturing and energy, including maritime and defense manufacturing, information and communications technology, aged services, disability services, agriculture, aquaculture, transport and logistics. Priority industry training and workforce development area list shows all the minimum requirements for these priority sectors. For an example, if you're working in advanced manufacturing and energy sector, you're required to have a minimum of Certificate 4. Whereas if you're working in information and communication technology, you need to have a degree or postgraduate degree. One more example, if you're working in tourism and hospitality, minimum requirement is Certificate 3, plus you're required to have current experience in industry in Tasmania, at least for 6 months, or priority experience in Australia of at least 12 months in the past 3 years. Cert 3, Cert 4 and diploma must include substantial practical workplace development or on-campus kitchen equivalent. So the second stream for subclass 190 is for people who are working in Tasmania at the moment. You must be working in a nominated occupation full-time or 2 part-time jobs making up at least 35 hours a week. You must have a positive skill assessment in the nominated occupation, and your occupation has to be from TSOL list. Let's talk about this famous 491 Tasmanian skill occupation category, where you get 15 points from the state, and you only need to have a minimum of 50 points to be eligible by your own. To get 50 points, if you're aged between 25 and 31 and studied a bachelor's degree in a regional area, and the occupation you're nominating is in a skill occupation list with IELTS 6 or equivalent, you already have 50 points. Tasmanian 491 stream has 5 different categories that you can be qualified under 491 visa. Category 1 for Tasmanian graduates. Category 2 is for people who are working in Tasmania. Category 3 is for overseas applicants. Category 4 is for family-sponsored applicants. Category 5 is for small business owners. Let's talk about Tasmanian graduate category. It is important to understand the commencement date of your last course of study in Tasmania. If the last commencement date of your last course of study in Tasmania is before 30th of June 2021, you must have completed and graduated from a CRI course registered tertiary institution in Tasmania. The course undertaken must be a degree, which is a bachelor or higher degree, a diploma, a standard diploma, advanced diploma, associate diploma, or a graduate diploma, or a trade qualification, minimum of Certificate 3 level for a skill occupation in Group 3 in NSCO. Also, must have a minimum duration of academic year, which is 40 weeks as listed in CRICOS. Must be a full-time and on-site in Tasmania, which means you must be studying full-time, and also you and your family has to be in Tasmania while you're studying. You must have lived in the state for at least 1 year, and during your period of study prior to applying for the visa state nomination. You and your dependents must currently be living in Tasmania and able to provide evidence for your genuine ongoing commitment to live and remain in Tasmania. If you're not currently in skilled employment, you must provide a career plan that explains how your studies have increased your ability to find skilled work in Tasmania. This may include areas unrelated to your Tasmanian study. If you commence your last course of study in Tasmania, commence after 30th of June 2021, then you must have completed your course of study and obtain a letter of completion from tertiary institution in Tasmania from a CRICOS registered institute. Your course must be listed in CRICOS for at least 40 weeks. You must have completed your course full-time and on-site in Tasmania. You must have lived in Tasmania for at least 1 year from the commencement of your course and the duration of your studies. You and your dependents must be currently living in Tasmania and can provide evidence of your ongoing genuine commitment to live in Tasmania. If you're not currently in skilled employment, you must provide a career plan that explains how your studies have increased your ability to find skilled work in Tasmania. This may include areas unrelated to your Tasmanian study. Your study does not need to be related to your nominated occupation. However, a related skills assessment will be highly regarded. If you held a student visa, which is subclass 500 when you completed your last course of study in Tasmania, the study must be either a bachelor's degree, master's degree, or a higher degree, or a diploma, advanced diploma, associate degree, or a graduate diploma, or a qualification related to a prior industry training and workforce development area, current at the time of the commencement of study, at the minimum qualification specified for that area. If you held a visa other than a subclass 500 student visa, at the time of you completed your last course of study in Tasmania, the study must be directly related to priority industry training and workforce development area. Let's take a look at Category 2 of Tasmanian 491 visa, Working in Tasmania. You must have been working in Tasmania for 6 months immediately prior to your application for state nomination, but you do not need to be working in your nominated occupation. Your employment needs to be at least 35 hours per week in one full-time job or in 2 or more part-time jobs, and you're able to provide evidence of your employment claims and feel genuine ongoing skill shortage in Tasmania. You and your dependents must currently be living in Tasmania and provide evidence of genuine commitment to continue to live in Tasmania. Your employer must have a well-established business that has been actively operating in Tasmania for at least past 12 months. There must be a genuine ongoing need for your position within the business. Needs to include a minimum of 12 months contract with at least 3 months remaining at the time of you apply for the nomination. The contract may, however, be casual, but must comply with the Fair Work Ombudsman's National Employment Standards. Your wages and conditions must be no less favorable than those that would apply to an Australian citizen or permanent resident, and salary or wages are equivalent to the market salary rates. Employment in position classified at skill level 4 or 5 will not be eligible for the purpose of state nomination unless the employment is ongoing for at least 6 months beyond the application date, the applicant has reasonable career development prospects in the industry, It is located at least 50 kilometers from a population center of more than 5,000 people in a position for which there is a genuine and demonstrated severe labor recruitment difficulty, or it is associated with aged care and individual support, or the position involves specialist qualifications or experience that are not available in the local community, and equivalent of prior related employment experience and or qualifications are provided. Please note, internships, stipends, scholarships and volunteer positions are not considered employment for the purpose for this category. But sole traders or subcontractors may be eligible for this nomination under Category 5 SBO. Please note there are areas of employment in Tasmania that are not supported for nominations under Working in Tasmania category. This includes supermarket workers, service station workers, limited service restaurants, massage clinics, taxi or Uber drivers, subcontracted cleaning, or security workers. Let's talk about the category 3, which is for overseas applicants. Please note there are two subcategories under overseas applicants, category 3A and 3B. Please note the nomination category 3A for overseas applicant is only by invitation, which means you need to have an invitation from the Tasmanian state government. For category 3A, your occupation should be listed in TSOL. You or any of your dependents have not lived in another Australian state or territory within the last 12 months, which means within the last 12 months you must have resided outside of Australia. You have achieved the English requirements specified on the TSOL for your nominated occupation in a recognized English language test, or held a passport of either UK, Ireland, USA, Canada, or New Zealand. You have read and met the other requirements and notes columns specified on the TSOL for your nominated occupation. You must also demonstrate that you have sufficient financial assets to fund your migration and settlement in Tasmania for at least 6 months while you seek employment. You must also have researched Tasmanian labour market, have been invited to seek nomination, and unless your occupation is listed in high demand in the TSOL, provide evidence that there are sufficient employment opportunities in Tasmania, or that you have reasonable prospect for employment related to your occupation. Every now and then, due to industry demand, Migration Tasmania may invite and nominate candidates who do not have an occupation listed in TSOL. Candidates with a non-TSOL occupation list may also lodge an EOI for Tasmanian nomination. However, there is no guarantee they will be invited to apply. Now I will talk to you about Category 3A application process. As I told you before, please note you cannot apply for nomination in this category before being invited by Migration Tasmania. Step 1. Read the nomination requirement for Category 3A related to overseas applicants under TSOL. If you believe you meet the requirements, you should create an expression of interest in Skill Select. Choose Tasmania as your state of interest. Candidates who select other states may not be invited to apply for nomination. Migration Tasmania will periodically review EOIs and contact the most promising candidates and invite them to apply for nomination through Skill Select. Now, if you're invited to apply for nomination, complete your application for nomination on the website within 60 days. Attach a copy of the email invitation you received from the Skill Select. If you do not attach your invitation, your nomination will be refused. It is important to be informed. Migration Tasmania will only review EOIs that have been created or updated in the previous 6 months. So if your EOI is beyond 6 months, it is important for you to apply for an EOI through Skill Select again. Let's take a look at Category 3B, which is for overseas applicant who has a job offer from a Tasmanian employer. If the job offer is in an area related to TSOL, you must have a skills assessment in that area and should meet the additional English and registration or experience requirements listed for that occupation on the TSOL. You and any of your dependents who have listed in the application have not lived in any other Australian state or territory within the last 12 months. Your employer must be a well-established business and have been actively operating in Tasmania for past 12 months. So you cannot be nominated by a business which is newly established in Tasmania. Your wages and conditions must be no less favorable than those that would be applied to Australian citizens or permanent residents, and salary or wages are equivalent to market salary. You must also demonstrate that there is a genuine and ongoing need for your position within the business and the capacity for the business is to sustain your employment. Let's take a look at the Category 4 of Tasmanian 491 Skill Visa Program, which is Family Sponsored Category. To be considered for this category, you should be applying from outside of Tasmania and have an immediate family member who meets all of the following criteria. The sponsoring family member has to be an Australian permanent resident or an Australian citizen for a minimum of 12 months prior to the lodgement of your application. And also this family member is currently residing in Tasmania and also has been residing in Tasmania for last 12 months. This family member has to be one of your immediate family members. This family member can be your parent, brother, sister, child, aunt, uncle, or grandparent. But please note, this family member cannot be related to you from the secondary applicant, which means it cannot be your brother-in-law, father-in-law, sister-in-law, or mother-in-law. Also, this family member must agree to support and assist you in the process of gaining employment in Tasmania upon your arrival in Tasmania. Let's take a look at Category 5 of Tasmanian 491 Visa. Category 5 of Tasmanian 491 Visa is Small Business Owner category, or the SBO category. With this visa category, you must demonstrate that you have established and operate your business in Tasmania for at least 6 months. Demonstrate that the business is highly likely to be able to give you a personal income. In relation to subclass 191 permanent residency, currently that income is $53,900 per year. For at least next 3 years out of 5 years of grant of your 491 visa, you must demonstrate that you have an understanding of responsibilities and requirements around treating employees fairly. You may do that by completing key units on Fair Work Ombudsman Online Training Centre. All the applicants must provide a comprehensive business plan. This business plan must provide the evidence of thorough research into understanding of the target market, research and understanding of the relevant industry conditions, licensing, and/or registration requirement for the business in Tasmania. Realistic market opportunities for the proposed business in Tasmania, particularly where the business would be competing with other businesses already established in Tasmania. And also, additionally, you might include the applicant's prior business ownership or business management experience, and also the nature of the business and its long-term benefits to Tasmania. So the Tasmanian government expects you to solely own the business and operate it by yourself. It is also important to understand franchise and part-owned or passive business investments are not acceptable under this category, which are service stations, massage clinic, taxi, or Uber-related businesses are not supported under this category. I hope this video was informative enough for you to understand the Tasmanian migration permanent residency pathways. Should you require further clarification regarding the content of this video, please feel free to contact us directly via any of the methods below.